So what we can do? We're going to iron out the cash flow. Obviously, we're talking here about these big peaks and troughs. Big cash flow, and then it dries up, okay? It's all good when we're up here, but it's really challenging when we are down here. And so I've just got a couple of things that you and I can do to iron these out. Right, the first one we do is we change the delivery model. What do I mean by that? I mean thinking through your products and your services, shifting the way you deliver to better make use of, because your highs and lows could either be seasonal, okay, like you might have a massive Christmas and a massive June, or maybe Christmas is dead, but March is really high. You may have seasonal highs and lows, or you may just have operational highs and lows that come from not thinking through the business model. But if you've got seasonal highs and lows, then start to deliver some of your products at the lower season and some of your products at the higher season, and then you'll get the best of both worlds. Let me give you an example of what I mean. I was working with an air conditioning business, right? They sell, install and service air conditioning. Now you can imagine summertime, so from about now to February, like they absolutely crushing it. Like they get all the inbound inquiries. They typically, this company would typically stop marketing and stop taking on customers 4 to 5 weeks out from Christmas because they're just absolutely booked, right? That's it, it's done. But what would happen is, they typically had a system whereby 1 year after your aircon was installed, they came back and did a service. And they would charge you for it, and they would do one a year. Maybe $150 or something like that. And they said to me, it's so frustrating that, during summer, when I could be doing a $15,000 install of a ducted unit, we have to go run around and do these $150 jobs. I said, it's easy. Let's punt all of the service work to the winter months, and let's not do any of those in the summer months and focus on where the money's at, because they had a business model that was, massive over Christmas and then died and then massive later on in the year. So I said, let's iron this bit out in here. Let's go and do, thousands of $180 services in here so that we were ironing out the bottom. So just a case of, I guess, thinking about the products and services and shifting when you deliver them so that you don't cannibalize your good times, and then you can take the work you didn't do, focus it and saturate it on the low times, and then you'll find that you're making more money in that time. The interesting thing about the aircon game, a second benefit to this was that they'll gear up with team members during summer to be able to deliver. They'll make a lot of money, and then they usually hang on to the team members in winter, even though they're not making any money, because they need them again for summer. This gave everybody the ability to work and earn and stay and not lose their job. So other benefits, all right, according to that. Number 2, create some other products or services. Okay, so if you've only got one, and you've got some highs and lows, maybe seasonal, then come up with some other products and services and sell them at the low times. Focus that energy on the low times. So just like before, we talked about the aircon company that took one of its products and put them to the low season. Maybe you need to diversify your income streams and come up with a product or come up with a service that you can sell whenever you hit the lows. You intentionally go out and market this product at your low points. And maybe it's a cheaper alternative, maybe it's whatever, maybe it's just a product that you don't necessarily make a huge amount of margin on, but you sell it to iron out the low points so you don't lose money. That would be a good thing. So maybe you need to come up with another product or another service, and you intentionally focus on that during that period of time to keep the wheels moving. Because, if you make lots of profit when it's high and lose that profit when it's low, you'll have a better business if you make the profit when it's high and just break even when it's low, because then you're not losing what you gained. You're at least breaking even and not losing would be a way better business model for you moving forward, all right? So maybe you need to come up with another product, another service, and diversify your income stream. Number 3, during that period of time when you hit the lows, okay, that's when I reckon you need to move your marketing model to more hunting, less farming. So typically, if they've got highs and lows and they're seasonal, during the highs, you're getting a ton of inbound inquiry. People are finding you regardless, right? your Google AdWords are working, your Facebook's working, your marketing, your networking, because it's the season people buy from you. So you're always going to have a huge amount of inbound inquiry during those periods of time. You're not going to have the big inbounds out of season, which means you need to intentionally get on the phone and drive the outbound. You need to be the hunter. You and your team need to be very, very, very focused on being the caveman that leaves the cave, finds a prospect, clubs it over the head, kills it, drags it back in so you guys can eat, right? That's the name of the game during the lows. And so it might just mean that, if you're finding that your seasons are high and low, you set a trigger that on the way back down, when this thing happens, we switch our marketing from farming to hunting. That could be as simple, by the way, as putting on a business development manager. You may find that if you had somebody that was totally focused on outbound, building relationships, marketing, hunting, you may find that you iron out that way. But you need to be far more transactional and far more intentional and far more, going for the customer during the dips in cash flow, because that's what evens it out. Because then you get more sales, then you don't get the highs and lows, you get highs and mids. And that's a good thing. And of course, point number 4 is literally you just need to get tough on debtors. Okay, you need to find all the people that owe you money and get really tough on them. Because think about it, if you can get your cash flow through your business quicker, then you won't have the troughs, right? Because more money is being flushed through your business sooner, which will iron that period out. Now, you could do that just by holding on to your terms and being really diligent. When people don't pay you, get back on the phone. That's a good idea. Something else you may consider doing is changing your pricing structure during the lows. Charge more. Maybe you charge more, or maybe you charge less, and which means that you get the lion's share of the work and you don't get the margin, but you get the cash flow. Either of those would work. But maybe you need to change the way you charge. So instead of taking a 20% deposit during the dip, you take 50s. The difference is more money coming through your business sooner to iron out the peaks and the troughs. Okay, so when we look at this, to me, it's not okay to have the big highs and lows. If you're operationally highs and lows, which means it's not a season, then the number one reason why that happens is because you're not always marketing. If you've got highs and lows, in your cash flow, one of the first questions you want to ask yourself is, am I marketing? Am I doing my 10 pillars? Do I have all the marketing activities happening regardless of whether I'm busy or not? If you're not intentionally building 10 pillars and you don't have leads flowing in every day, every week, every month, then you'll probably have highs and lows by default, because you're only left to take what comes in. Now, if you get a lot come in, you get really busy, then you don't do any marketing, so it means you've got a lag, right? So if you're really busy right now and you're not doing any marketing, then you'll completely drop the ball with any new initiatives because you're busy. You'll deliver on that work, and then you'll be hitting a low because there's no marketing. Then you'll do a whole bunch of marketing, all those leads will kick in, you'll convert some of those, and then you'll get really busy again, making lots of money. But because you weren't marketing, those leads will dry off, you'll hit a low, and that'll be the repeating process throughout the whole life. Like, that is way too stressful. First ask yourself that question, because if that's you just have a marketing issue. You need to have 10 pillars, 10 marketing strategies working concurrently. If you had that, and I've talked about that on other episodes, you literally would probably fix your operational highs and lows. But if you've got seasonal highs and lows, like the market just do things a certain way, then those 4 things it will probably never flatline, but it will stop the big dips, the stress, the laying off the team, the cutting backs, because it'll just even them out and life will be far, far, far sweeter.